I'm joined this morning by Mr. Todd Ashton, who's the Vice President and Head of Ericsson in South and Eastern Africa. And we're talking about the development of, for example, the retirement industry in terms of technology. A lot of advancements are going to happen. It's happening already now and into the future with regards to communication, onboarding of members, the way people meet, payment systems, administration systems, and the like. And all of these are underpinned by the ability to reach out and have an infrastructure base that this all can run on. So Todd, as an expert, can share with us what the developments are in this area. Where is it going? What's the reach? What's happening? 5G, 6G, all the different technologies. Todd, good morning.
Good morning. Great to be here, Chris. Thanks for having me on.
Fantastic. So where are we at in this industry as far as the infrastructural developments are concerned?
Yeah, so maybe, Chris, I'll start with a bit of a broad brush, and then we can deep dive into some implications, I think, maybe for South Africa, implications for, like you said, for the pension funds, etc.
Perfect.
So let's say the technology development is going extremely fast, and it's very interesting. 4G was the fastest adopted technology in mankind's history.
Wow.
Around the world. And interestingly, when we look at the very advanced markets, 5G is moving even faster. Okay. And one of the main factors for having these technologies come out is also the device prices. And device prices in 4G fell very fast, 5G much, much faster. So what does this mean then in Africa context? Well, first of all, 4G is an extremely important technology. And like I said, it was the fastest adopted technology in mankind. And that will be the baseline, in our view, for all future technologies as they come out when we talk about connectivity. You'll probably have a little bit of 2G. That's because you might have some mobile money services with 2G. And then broadband connectivity will broadly be 4G and 5G. Now, if we zoom into Africa then, so only 2 years ago, if we take sub-Saharan Africa, only 7% of the population was using 4G. Obviously, a much higher number in South Africa, but if we just take that broad stroke. Fast forward 2 years, it's more than 20%. And 20% we have seen in most countries is is sort of a tipping point where it will then accelerate even faster. Then the COVID pandemic happened. And I think there we saw the implications of what a real digital divide is if there is not secure, reliable broadband, not only in Gauteng, but out in the bush, right? Because you got schools out there, you probably have retirees out there that need to have broadband connectivity, and I'll come more into that in a second. And I think that has really shown the world, has shown regulators, has shown many governments that this type of connectivity is a basic human right. And this is my motivation for moving to Africa 2 years ago. As I saw with the experience I had in Southeast Asia, I saw what happened when we did 4G, and I know we could do this again in Africa. But the difference is I see sub-Saharan Africa, and if we zoom in on South Africa, has the opportunity to leapfrog. So maybe we don't need to do fiber in the same way that has been done in the rest of the world. Maybe we don't need to do 4G in exactly the same way we did in the rest of the world. Why not go straight where we can? And I think you'll see in urban centers that's starting. It's starting in South Africa. It's happened in Lagos. We've launched in Harare. I mean, you're starting to see this in some of the city centers. And why would that be good? Because 5G, I mean, is made as a technology not only for us to surf faster on YouTube, which will drive even better channel for the creativity and entrepreneurship that would exist, for small, medium enterprise type things into the economy. But it's a technology made also for things and industries. And manufacturing makes up 12% of the South African GDP. You can use 4G and 5G as a way to provide reliability and security in more dangerous operations like mining, manufacturing with cars, etc. So I think it's industries that can be affected, people, and then things. You can connect things. But as you were indicating, then that means connectivity it is now part of the economic fabric of a nation, right? Which makes it even more, the role of a regulator even more critical, because a telco regulator cannot just think about spectrum that they allocate licenses to Vodacom and to MTN, but think about the implications for industries, not just people, for how we use the technology. So I think that's kind of broad-based where we are. Then I would say South Africa is moving along quite well. The regulator has licensed out now 5G spectrum. And, I think what a mobile operator needs to know is that they have long-term licenses with surety of renewal, provided they fulfill their obligations and make it technology neutral. You can use 2G spectrum today for 5G tomorrow. Right, so then I was gonna add on to that then, Chris. So let's now deep dive into and maybe with your audience around pension funds and retirees. I mean, I think there's two real important aspects. One is the availability of quality broadband in more rural areas, right? And the fundamental cost for a mobile operator to provide connectivity is actually building the tower. It's not the electronics that a vendor like Ericsson sells. So it really is being able to get access to land to put towers. And there's lots of good ways to do it. So it's good for the environment, etc. The second part is around power consumption, okay? Because it's also a major cost. Power, big topic in South Africa right now, I believe. What we've seen is the energy cost has gone up with every G. 5G offers speeds of 10 times more than 4G, sure. But we cannot allow the energy cost to go up 10 times. In fact, we have to break the energy curve. And, my company has been investing billions of R&D to do just that. And we have even designed, for the first time in our history, products specifically for the African environment that really focus on power consumption reduction and reliability there. Then the third part, then, if you're, let's say, even if you're in a city, I'm sure we've all noticed that banks, large insurance companies, pension funds are going more and more what's called omni-channel. So you can access the services in any way. You can go into the brick and mortar, but you can maybe do online. Yeah. But if you're going to do this, obviously, online banking on your mobile phone needs to be secure and reliable. And I believe fraud is quite prevalent in a number of sub-Saharan African countries, including South Africa. So one of the key applications for 4G and 5G, I would say, for your audience, is how to come up with, more, and these are happening, more secure, maybe blockchain-enabled ways to authenticate yourself, so you get access to your retirement funds, and it's a mobile technology underpinning that. So I think that's why it's extremely relevant as well from that perspective.
Right, so that was absolutely fascinating stuff, Todd. Thank you very much for your time and expertise. It's been an absolute pleasure listening to you, and it's really, it's encouraging to hear all of the development that's happening in the industry. So, absolutely thank you much for your time, and we can certainly chat again soon.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure, Chris. And all the best. Take care.
Thank you.